everybody, and welcome back to the Movie Club Emporium. We are back from our summer block party. Most of you missed it, but that's okay. It was Staycation 2025. It was a lot of fun to put together. So do me and yourselves a huge favor and go back and watch those videos, please. Whew. But we are now fresh into September, uh, booking quickly on the way to our Halloween horror month. But we got a couple of stops on the road to Terror Town, including this one. And I will go ahead and be very honest with you. This is my second time recording this review because the first time I banged out a 21-minute review only for the sound not to work. And so I will try to maybe be a little shorter. We'll see. And B, not let that affect my mood for the review of this movie. However, when I do begin my review, that may be hard for some of you to believe. But right now, let's get into it. We are talking about the final nail in the coffin, so they say, of the Conjuring Universe. With The Conjuring Last Rites. And we are selling this movie so hard as the final entry into the Conjuring Universe. Unless you include that television show that they're doing on HBO Max. Because as a horror fan, when you hear the word final, it's kind of another word for bullcrap. But this is the final entry in this movie universe. I'm assuming they haven't, if it's supposed to be just the Conjuring movies proper, or the whole universe altogether. And boy, let me tell you, this whole thing kind of wraps up like a wet fart. Now, I'm somebody who considers The Conjuring, the original one, to be like maybe top 5 greatest like horror movies like the last 25 years. I really enjoyed part 2. I had a lot of fun with it. Granted, I was the only person in the theater, so it was extra spooky. And I did not hate the third one, mostly because it's such an interesting story. Because you get the law involved, and it kind of turns into a slasher film for a while. And so I was curious what they were going to do. Hell, I'm the one guy who really liked both Nun movies, so take that for what it's worth. But yeah, I was curious what they were going to do to tell the final piece of the Warren story. And so you would think they would go big, right? Amityville, that's kind of where they got their claim to fame. Are we going to do Amityville? No, it could be this, could be that. No, instead, they kind of took 2 Warren's cases, and this is supposed to be the final case. Neither one of them are the final cases. But they took 2 cases and put them together for this movie, and it's a haunted mirror. And you're like, oh, is it a haunted mirror that like demons crawl out of, or is it a haunted mirror that you look in and you all have goatees like it's Star Trek? No, it's just a haunted mirror. It kind of moves, and a mirror may not make you want to kill. And that right there was the essential, like the scary part of the mirror, because it moves. It moves around the house. And I know that earlier this year, with a really great movie of Bring Her Back, I kind of said I was kind of wanting the tropes of the grief horror movies to kind of end. I kind of am done with The Conjuring and all of its clones. And by that I mean just really dark, unnecessarily so darkly filmed, um, jump scare, loud noise movies. I will say this movie is looks fantastic. That's obviously where the money goes. It didn't go into the effects because there is some CG in this movie that looks atrocious. You saw some of it in the trailers, and they didn't make it any better. But this is a movie about this family who have a haunted mirror, and that's basically what you get of them. Because, okay, so here's my real problem with this movie: is we all know that the linchpin of this franchise, what has kept it going for this long, is the amazing acting and chemistry between Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga playing these characters, the loosest of loosely based on two grifters. But they're so lovable. Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, that is, as these characters. Um, and they are good in this, but also what makes The Conjuring, and in most parts the second one as well, so scary is your fear for the safety of the particular family that's being haunted in those films. And this movie could not care less about the Spurls and their haunted mirror because Ed and Lorraine's daughter is getting married. And so for huge whatever, huge chunks of this movie, of this runtime, also 2 hours and 15 minutes, get out of here. I apologize, 2 hours and 18 minutes. Is about their daughter getting married. She's marrying a cop who's kind of a doofus. And because she's older or because she's getting married, her shine is really kicked in. Which leads to some insane dream sequences. Hell, even to the point to where apparently RDJ and Annabelle have the same talent agent because they're both just getting booked in these franchises long after they're kind of should be done with it because Annabelle makes an appearance. Not only that, but this is a Warner Brothers film. Warner Brothers, I don't know if you know this, made the It. I don't want to say remakes, the It movies with the Skarsgård It movies. And so is it weird that when you plagiarize yourself, because there's a scene in this movie, a dream sequence that she has, where Annabelle shows up and becomes comically large, much like the Pennywise coming out of the projector scene. And it's just a giant Annabelle. And even though I was alone, I felt embarrassed to be laughing so much at how goofy that looked. Because again, why is Annabelle, like, again, she's just Tony Stark into this movie because, speaking of, okay, and this is the other part of the movie where my eyes rolled back so far in my head, I could see into the past. At the end of the movie, because again, there's no stakes, because the movie's not about the family. It's about Ed and Lorraine, and Ed's got that bum ticker, even though he looks like Patrick Wilson in the peak physical condition. But is the wedding of their daughter, and at the end of the movie, he walks her down the aisle, and it is the Conjuring Universe's. Are you done? Conjuring Universe's version of the Tony Stark funeral at the end of Endgame, because like all these characters throughout the franchise are they're attending this wedding. Like, not for nothing, but like, if I'm a ghost hunter and you hire me to come kill ghosts in your home, I do that. Like, you're a client and I provided a service. I don't invite you to my daughter's wedding. But there's Lily Taylor sitting in the crowd. I'm surprised they didn't have Vera Farmiga's sister um in like really old lady makeup, from The Witch and stuff. Not The Witch, The Nun. I wish this was The Witch. No, I didn't enjoy this movie, and it's not because I'm recording this review twice. I didn't enjoy it then either. Um, and again, this is a franchise that I, for the most part, really enjoyed. The three first Conjuring movies, I think Annabelle 2 and 3 are fantastic. Annabelle 1, not so much, but we're finding our feet. Uh, Again, I'm the one person who liked both Nun movies. Um, the only one I really didn't care for was La Llorona, and that's only because the characters in the movie were really stupid. Uh, this movie is it's a weird, like, almost self-suck for these two people who in real life, whatever you think about them, but like, facts are facts. But the movie can't like stop. The movie's all about them and not about them solving this problem for a family, because they couldn't care. It was all about this wedding. In fact, how they stop the the mirror. And if you want to watch a great mirror movie, haunted mirror movie, go watch Oculus. Hell, even Mirrors was better than this. Is they put their hands on it, and the power of their family is what breaks the mirror, or something or other. It's just like, there's like the scene where, because the daughter, she decides to go help this family because they're Ed and Lorraine, they're just too old for this, and like, they're out of the game, and they go because it's too dangerous for their daughter. Their daughter, and they show up, and people are like, oh my god, it's the Warrens. Hell, the Warrens! Like the Ghostbusters showed up in the third act. It's insane. Um, no, this wasn't good. I did not like this, and it's kind of, again, like a big wet blanket to the end of this franchise. So I don't recommend Last Rites. Uh, if you haven't seen the first one, I do recommend the first one. I still think it's a legitimately scary movie. It's also weird that James Wan, who directed the first two, he didn't direct the third one, and that one didn't do as well. People weren't happy with it. And then they're like, this is the last one. And they're like, cool. Let's just rehire the people that made the third one to do this one. I was like, what did you have going, James Wan? Like, you're not doing Aquaman movies anymore. Like, if you were making like something new, like another Malignant, then like, sign me up. But like, what are you doing? No, so don't go see this. Go see the movie that I really wanted to see, but we did not get anywhere here. Hopefully we do, and I can talk about it next week, but that is The Long Walk. I'm hoping we get either it or Him, the new weird football horror movie. One of those we'll be talking about next week, or try to. And then the end of the month, we're hopefully going to see The Strangers Part 2, which I'm excited about. The Strangers being weirdly our best performing review. I did like the Strangers Chapter 1. and I was one of the few that did like it. But I'm excited for the Strangers Chapter 2. And then don't forget to join us October 4th. It's a week late, but we had some work stuff come up. Will be our September live, and Nick and I may come to blows because this is Nick's idea, but we are going to be chatting, reviewing, and ranking the Sony Spider-Man-less Spider-Verse movies. So the Venom trilogy, Madam Web, Craven, and Morbius. So it's been a fun month for me at the movies. But we're going to be talking about those at the end of the month. And then we're jumping straight into Halloween Horror Month. So make sure you're sticking around for those. It is a theme month, but check those videos out. There are some fun movies, stuff you haven't seen before. And then, of course, as Nick can, we will have the post-theater clarity reviews that he puts up. And just go back and check out those summer videos because they need some love. Nobody wanted to do a staycation. So I don't know how you're going to feel about October because we're talking about Clive Barker movies. But make sure we are liking and subscribing. All the YouTube rigmaroles, share. And I will see you guys next week. Bye.